Well, Sean, thank you so much for joining me on The Ripple Effect with Ray, where I talk to health and wellness founders and get to know their why, their story. Thanks so much for being here today. We have Dr. Sean Pastuch joining us with Active Life.
You're welcome. I enjoy these conversations, so I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing. So, Sean, tell me a little bit more about why you started Active Life.
Active Life started as the solution to my own problems. It wasn't I set out to do this. It kind of found me. I was running a clinic and a CrossFit gym, and I had patients flying in from around the world to see me to help them with their chronic aches and pains that their coaches and their doctors couldn't help them with. They were being told that their athletic life was going to be over, or if they were the executive, they were told this is just the best it's going to get. Find a different way to work out, find a different way to play with your kids. This is what happens when you get older. And I had an appropriate amount of ignorance to known realities of their condition. So when they would come out, I would say, I don't see why we couldn't make this better. And as a result of not knowing why you wouldn't be able to, we did. And so that led to their trainers and their doctors wanting to know what we were doing that was different than what they were already getting. How was I able to help their client, their patient, when they've been seeing them for days or weeks or years and couldn't figure it out? That turned into me mentoring trainers and coaches and healthcare providers from around the world to help their patients and clients overcome chronic pain and reclaim an active life, which turned into a brick and mortar here in Long Beach, New York, helping people do it in our local market. And we're opening our next location shortly.
Amazing. Well, seems like you're doing something right there. I'm opening more and more locations. And then, so what would you say when somebody would tell you that, oh, sorry, you're just getting old, or that's just a part of life, and sorry, figure out another way to play with your kids? What would you say to that?
I would ask them if they agree. And if they said anything other than yes, I would dig deeper. I think one of the mistakes that people make is they try to convince people that an alternative reality is true. We should stay out of the business of convincing people. We should stay in the business of validating people's beliefs who want more for themselves and then help them access it. That's what I do. That's what we do at Active Life.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you say that when somebody's hearing that and saying, hey, I believe there's more for you, say, no, I believe that that should not be your reality. Do you feel that's why people gravitate towards active life, working with you, kind of finding your facilities, that it gives them, I mean, I guess a different possibility, a different option?
I think the people who get referred to us come for that reason. Most of the people who find us are just looking for a way to get out of pain. We have to speak the language that they're speaking and then help them understand a new language along the way. The trainers who come to us for education, they're coming to us for one of two or both reasons. Reason number one is they aren't making enough money in a little enough amount of time to be able to see themselves staying in the health and fitness industry long term. And that's extremely stressful for them because they love it and they're good at it and they should be able to. The other reason would be that they have clients or they have members, whatever they want to call them, who've been dealing with aches and pains and limitations for months or years. And they've done everything that they know how to do to help them. They've already taken continuing education, they've watched the YouTube videos, they've listened to the podcasts, they've tried the things. And 80% of the time, if we're being honest, it works. But they don't think about the 80% of the people that they're successful with. They think about the 20% of people that they want to be successful with. And they're frustrated that they can't help those 20% because the coaches who come to us are great. They're already great. It's our job to make them world class. And all that they can think about is the people they want to be able to help more. And we help them do that while they make a living. So people don't come to us with immense clarity around everything that they want. They come to us with clarity of the bottleneck in their life. And then it's our job to help them clear that bottleneck so that they can see what else is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really about identifying what are those bottlenecks, what's holding them back, right? What would you say has been some trends that you've been seeing in the fitness or health and wellness industry? What are people leaning into? What do you feel versus what maybe they would have done in the past?
I think right now we're living through a moment in time that 100 years from now, historians and documentaries, if we're still making them, are going to look back and say everybody was going in this direction. And it was the people who went in that direction who found the most outsized success. The people who zagged when everyone else was zigging. The zig right now, you could take out fitness or healthcare as an industry and just have the word industry there. What makes fitness and healthcare unique is that they're human service industries. But what everyone is looking to do is replace people with tech. All of your business owners are looking to replace people with tech. They want to see if they can get rid of a job by using AI instead. They want to see if they can get rid of a job by using a machine instead. They want to see if they can depend less on their people and more on their machines so that they can spend more today to scale their future indefinitely. And I think that tech has a massive leverage effect of people. But tech as tech is just the new race to the bottom. Now, I'll give you an example. All of these gyms are putting in their recovery rooms, their wellness rooms, right? They're putting in their red light beds, their massage chairs, their percussion guns, all of these things. And they're competing with other gyms who are doing the same thing, and even medical offices who are doing the same thing. As soon as we buy our new phone, it's obsolete. As soon as you drive your car off the lot, it's depreciated in value by what, 20%? And so what happens now is the competitor down the block is on a different payment cycle than you, and they just bought the new one. So now what? You have the depreciated, less valued version of the tech that your competitor down the block has the new version of? Well, then you have to go buy the new version. And it's the competition to continue to buy the next piece of tech instead of investing in a customer journey and the people who can help your clients get to it, using tech to leverage their job to make it easier. So I'll give you an example of how we do that at Active Life. When we educate coaches on how to build their careers, helping people overcome chronic aches and pains to make a fulfilling and freeing income, what we just did is, well, let me back up. One of the things that I like to do is study other entrepreneurs. One of my favorite entrepreneurs to study is Jeff Bezos. Active Life is not the Amazon of fitness and healthcare. We're not the lowest price and the most stuff sold. We're just not. But he says something I think is really smart, which is when everyone else is looking for what's changing, I like to look for what's not going to change. And one of the things that's never going to change, he says, is people are always going to want their stuff faster and cheaper. So why would let's just go all in on faster and cheaper. In the health and fitness landscape, I think that one of the things that's never going to change is people are going to want to continue to connect with inspiring people. And so while everybody else is chasing tech to replace their people, because they already see them as uninspiring, at Active Life, we're doubling down on our people and then using tech to give them more energy and more freedom to do their job really well. One of the roles in our company when we're educating coaches is called an evaluator. Think of an evaluator as the job at Active Life who's grading your tests. You're a student, you're presenting an assignment, we're looking for certain things in the assignment, and there's an evaluator whose job it is to give you your assignment back and say this is complete or this is incomplete, and these are the things that I think you should change. That is the easiest thing in the world to replace with AI. And we did. We took years, every conversation evaluators have ever had with our students, and we fed it into an AI that we now use to help our students get answers to their assignments in seconds instead of days. And they're getting answers that are just as good, if not better, than our evaluators ever gave. So you're overseas, time is not an issue. You work late at night, time is not an issue. You get your answers right away. We didn't fire our evaluators. We elevated our evaluators. They're now doing a more important job. They're now helping our students in different ways. They're now helping their colleagues in different ways. And nowhere on our roadmap do we have getting rid of our evaluators, the people who were in the role of evaluator. Because I think that that's a zag, where everybody else is zigging and saying, I can save a couple $100,000 of payroll a year if I get rid of these people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's I think there's this idea that I think you can be on the line of being afraid of AI and what it's doing and oh, it's going to take all these jobs, or you can recognize that it's here to stay and how can we utilize it to our best advantage without this notion that it's going to replace people because it won't. I mean, people were afraid of the calculator. People were afraid of the computer. And it's, I don't need that. I don't want that. Or our smartphones, all of these things, people were, no, this is going to deter or whatever. But recognizing how we can utilize it as a tool versus and how we can actually better what's already working with it rather than try to say, oh, I'm going to save hundreds of thousands of dollars of payroll, which there are companies doing that. Fine, no problem. But it doesn't sound what you're doing at Active Life. That's
No.
not the vision. That's not the values that you hope to portray. What would you say has been working really well for you at Active Life? What would you say has been maybe a little bit more challenging or frustrating?
Well, I'll get to that in a moment. I want people to know fear is a normal thing. I'm afraid of AI. I don't know what it's going to do. And at the end of the day, we can either be paralyzed by that fear, run away from it, or we can just continue to do our job the best that we possibly can without any control over how that unfolds. And that's what I choose. And it's much less stressful to live that way. Things that we've done really well at Active Life is we've built a real company. And I know that sounds, what do you mean by that? That's a silly thing. Well, most of the companies who we quote compete are a personal brand. They're one person, maybe two or three or five. They have some admin staff in the Philippines and it's informal. There's maybe some curriculum, but it's follow our template and it's going to work for you no matter where you are. Ask your questions, but at the end of the day, follow our template, all of that, right? At Active Life, we have 23 full time employees, soon to be 27 full time employees. And we are not as profitable as we would be if we ran it the other companies. The reason for that is I don't want to be anything the other companies. I want us to create an entirely new category that is fitness as healthcare so that people can see when physical therapy is over, but I'm not ready to go live my normal life. I don't go into the gym and hire a regular personal trainer. They don't know the difference between what it's after surgery that has anchors in your shoulder and surgery that doesn't have anchors in your shoulder. They don't know the difference between 14 weeks of rehab and 8 weeks of rehab. They just don't know these things. They're not taught these things. It's not their fault. It's not what they do. We have built a company where we develop people who do and who are able to actually solve for those. And in order to do that, we need a robust team of excellent people who can help them in all the areas that they know they need help and don't know that they need. And we're built for scale. So, for example, the next $1 million a month that we make doesn't cost us even as much money as it costs us to make what we make today, which is not $1 million a month. So, as we grow, we become extremely profitable and we're able to deliver great results to clients. What we've struggled with is because we built the company robustly, we spent over $3 million in the last 2.5 years to build the best curriculum, the best team, and the best delivery mechanism to our clients in the industry, not close second place. We're not as profitable as we'd like to be. I would love to be saying I'm sitting on millions of dollars and we're going to make an empire that starts next week. I'm not. And so I have to scrap in ways that other people might not. That's a choice, right? It's a choice because I see a bigger pie further away than the pie I could grab today.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it says a lot about your character, the way you run your business, and just the level of care that you bring to the table to the people you hire and the way that you run your business. And I think that's a huge differentiating factor than you said, maybe some of these other competitors that, and again, nothing right or wrong. It's just I think there's a big vision and mission behind what you hope to accomplish. And
Well,
yeah.
I think there's some right and wrong. I don't mind being a little bit G on that. I
Oh,
think that when you're running marketing that makes promises that you can only keep to the outliers, you have no business being in business. You make it harder for people to be successful entrepreneurially. You make it harder for companies who are actually providing services that they promise they're going to provide to get clients to believe that that's possible. You poison the well and you should leave.
yeah. So say a little bit more about that. I'm curious because I love sometimes we don't always have to bring, hey, this positive spin on whatever it is. So I'm curious to hear more about what you mean about this, the poisoning of the well, at least.
Because of the size that we are right now, and the client that we aim to serve is the personal trainer or the fitness coach who is stuck, right? They want to make more money. They want to help clients in a more transformative way, and they don't want to get great at Facebook ads or build a huge Instagram account. The people who are competing for the attention of those people are selling money. They're selling exclusively money. And when you sell money, it's simple, but I think unethical to talk about your outlier clients and how successful they have been in your program without acknowledging that they are outlier clients. And what ends up happening is everybody comes in hoping to be that outlier client, but most people aren't. That's the nature of outliers and everybody else. And the outlier who these companies put on the pedestal is this person only has 500 followers and they still make $1 million a year in a business without whatever, right? Whatever the nonsense is.
Vanity metrics, right? Yeah.
Yes. Well, is that person happy? The outlier? Is that person profitable? Or is that person spending $950,000 in ads to make $1 million? Does that person have a bunch of people working for them who don't respect them? Does that person feel they're actually making a change that they got into coaching to make? Or did they stop looking at coaching and start looking at coaching as a financial metric when in reality they'd be better off going and learning how to work in the finance industry? If all that we're doing is looking at how much can we move the financial needle, get out of coaching. There's nothing wrong with that being what you want to do, but go to an industry where that's the value prop, not this. I believe you should make a ton of money coaching clients who genuinely need your help, who are happy to pay you because you provide them a result that nobody else could provide them, and you do it reliably. That's valuable. That's worth a lot of money, and it's where everything should start. And every time I go and speak at an event or network with new people, even if I'm attending an event, people come up to me and tell me, I'm in this program, whatever the program that they're in, and it sucks. I paid $10,000. I paid $5,000. I paid whatever thousands of dollars. I was promised that I would have a person who could help me. I was promised that I would have the ability to ask questions, that they would help me organize my business. And all that they tell me to do is run their plays. And every time I go to their events, it's toxic. Everyone's doing drugs. There's a huge pain of exit, meaning there's the in-group and the out-group. If I tell them I want to cancel, I get shamed and I get ostracized. And so I haven't left because I feel really bad about that. It's abuse. And I absolutely wish poor business for those businesses so that they no longer poison the well.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for also just highlighting that because, yeah, I think I've been burned in the past as far as just say coaching programs go for sure. Whereas, hey, we're going to be walking with you, supporting you and this and this and that. And then they don't. You said there's one person in the program that's making crazy amounts of money and you're just, oh, okay.
They would have done it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We actually have an employee now at Active Life named David. David took one of our educations that wasn't as good as the education that we were building. And I was like, Dave, you should come take the new one. And he was, I'm doing something else right now. I'm taking a different mentorship right now. And as soon as he told me that he didn't want to, I started looking at his social medias and I'm like, oh, I know what mentorship you're doing. And I reached out and I said, is this what you're doing? He said, I said that your stuff looks shit now. It used to look good. It used to look you cared. It used to look you. Now it just looks crap. And I was blunt with him because it was the truth. And I said, here's what's going to happen over the next 4 months. And I said, if that happens, we should talk. And he didn't want to enroll with us because he was concerned we were the one he was in. And 4 months later, it was on my calendar to reach out to him. And I reached back out to him. And I said, how are things going? Is exactly how you said that they would. And I knew that not because I'm some fortune teller, but because I had spoken to 50 people who were in that program before him, who were all bamboozled out of their $16,000, sold some big lie, and neglected. And so he enrolled with us, fearfully, because he was out 16 grand already. How's he going to do it again? He became so successful and so happy with what we were doing with him that now he works at Active Life. And he's our customer support agent because he knows exactly what people don't want better than anybody else.
It's the people that have been burned that they just know, and they know the level of care that it takes to actually create something worthwhile, right?
Yes.
So where do you hope that Active Life will be in the next 6, 12 months, couple of years from now?
We're going to make suffering from chronic pain a thing of the past. It's going to become a choice for people. I'm, it's going to sound ridiculous. I'm less concerned with where active life is in 10 years than I am about where fitness as healthcare is in 10 years. Because I know active life is not the only place in the world that's providing people fitness as healthcare. But we don't have an umbrella that people can come to and say, what's the space between fitness and healthcare? Well, it's fitness as healthcare. It's people who are actually evaluating you when you come in, who are actually interviewing you when you come in, who understand what motivates you and what stunts your growth, who understand how to meet you where you are every time that you come in and ask you the courageous questions that other people are afraid to ask you so they stand in the way of your success. Dr. Jordan Shallow does a great job teaching his students this. Mike Stella does a great job teaching his students this. We do a great job teaching our students this. And we need that industry category to grow. That industry category needs to grow so that the mass of people for whom fitness has no answers and healthcare is uninspiring, fitness as healthcare becomes a choice. And I'm confident that active life will lead that category, but it will be because we collaborate with the other people in it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights, your story, your care, your honesty. I think we need more of that, right? We need all the whole spectrum, the transparency, the authenticity that really you and only you can bring to the table. So tell me, how can people find your program? How can people find you and work with you? I'll include all the show note or the links in the show notes as well.
Well, I can give you links to things that people can download. What I would want people, and the resources, a book about how to sell if you're a trainer, all kinds of stuff. I'll give you goodies for your show notes. What I would ask everyone who's listening who's interested in working with us in any way, shape, or form do is just go to activelifeprofessional.com. And when you land there, you'll find options for the end user who's looking for an active life professional to help them. We have a map of where all these people are around the world, and we back all of them. We would vouch for everyone on that map. And if you're a coach who wants to learn how to do what we do and get yourself onto that map, there's an option for you there too.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today on The Ripple Effect with Ray. Looking forward to hearing what our audience and listeners have to say about today's show.
You're welcome. Thank you, Rachel.